Hello everyone, welcome to the channel of Qianmo. In this video, we will talk about what are business models. If you work in the business field like accounting or some areas in finance, you'll probably hear this word a lot. So what exactly is it? It reminds me back to a time when I was working on a PowerPoint of a business plan before. I really didn't know how to write the page of business model. Then I searched for some well-known companies' business plan PowerPoint examples, and I found that the content of a business model part is actually very simple. That is, how your business charges fees. So to put it simply, business model is to answer two questions. First, what kind of products or services can you provide to the market? Second, how do you charge your fees for those products or services? So the PowerPoint presentation I wrote about the business model part is simply how to charge fees. Just this one small page, that's all. Okay, to dig a bit deeper, let's start with many traditional business models, then have a look at the impact of the emergence of the internet on the change of the business models in the past 1 or 2 decades. The business models of many traditional industries are relatively clear, such as the traditional catering industry, manufacturing industry, etc., which is to make products that people need, such as a table of good dishes, create good products, etc., and then through various channels to sell the products and services and realize income. This is the business model of most traditional businesses. To succeed in a traditional business model, the key is the realization of income is greater than the cost of delivering the products and services to the consumers who are willing to pay for them. As long as this is guaranteed, then this business model is established. The next step is to diligently work on the everyday details of this business. Looking at it this way, do you suddenly feel that business analysis is actually not that difficult? Even some traditional service industries are like this too. For example, in a barber shop, the barber uses his own skills and time to create a very cool hairstyle and then charges the fees. For example, accounting firms and law firms share the same business logic. They create products through their own professional skills, but this product or service is a financial report, solving your tax or legal problems, etc., and then charge fees. Businesses who want to stand out in these traditional business models would naturally concentrate on improving products and services, marketing channels, customer relations, and most important of all, the costs. As the owner or manager of a business, the indicators of operation and profitability that you look at are such as whether revenue increases or decreases, gross profit margin, cost analysis, inventory turnover, etc. How do these indicators compare with the average level of the same industry? For example, on the website of the Australian Taxation Office, there is a comprehensive list of the average performance indicators of small and medium-sized enterprises in various industries in Australia. Of course, this is an indicator for small and medium-sized enterprises. Even in the same industry, enterprises of different sizes may have different focuses and performances. For example, let's click to see the main benchmark of these cleaning services. You can see that the operation of this industry focuses on the process of providing this cleaning service. The two main costs are labor and transportation expenses. How much revenue can be generated by the input of those two major costs? These indicators are the areas that the business owners need to pay attention to. Let's have a look at an example of traditional large businesses and how they maintain and optimize their business models. Many of us perhaps even have learned this case example in our business course study, Kmart versus Walmart. To sum up, the story is this. When competing with Kmart in the 1960s, Walmart effectively increased the inventory and managed the supply chain, making the gross profit margin surpass Kmart significantly, thereby lowering prices and occupying the market. This is a typical strategy in increasing business efficiency, therefore making more profit or obtaining more market occupation. However, compared with those models that actually increase profit margins and improve business efficiency, there is another very popular model in the last 10 or 20 years, that is, obtaining enough users first. In the last 20 years, due to the establishment of a large number of internet base stations, significant increase of network speed, and the vast reduction of internet access costs, another business model has emerged widely. That is, you create value to be consumed, but the consumers do not need to pay, but a third party pays. This kind of business model has not just emerged now. The previous newspapers and media also use this business model. Part of the revenue of the traditional media industry also comes from third-party advertising revenue. So, how does it work for many small businesses who build their business models on social media nowadays? From the rapid development of the mobile internet, everyone has a mobile phone and the internet speed is fast and cheap. Therefore, nowadays everyone can be regarded as a source of information to provide the value of either information or entertainment. After getting a lot of attention, you can contact a third party who will pay you to advertise the products on your channel. As big as Google and platforms like YouTube, you and I use Google's search service and YouTube's free videos, but they are majorly paid for by advertisers. Well, we have to endure the ads. What we provide is not only attention and time, but also data. Whether those data are sold or processed to provide more competitive services, they can also generate great value. There are also many companies that sell data as their business model. For example, in recent years, individual investors may prefer to use commission-free stock trading services, in which, as users, we do not pay commission. Instead, we agree our data being processed in certain ways or sold to certain parties. To those businesses, speaking of business model, if the income generated by processing or selling the data is greater than the cost of providing free services, then this business model works. With vast technology inventions, it's also understandable that many companies start to explore the creativity of business models too. In an area where capital is cheap and plentiful, some companies or investors even try to take the market with a business idea before even establishing a sound business model. Among all business ideas in the last 10 years before the breakout of COVID, sharing economy has been quite a popular concept. There has been sharing of cars, sharing of bicycles, sharing of stays while traveling, sharing of office space, etc. To illustrate how important a sound business model is, let us compare the sharing of cars and sharing of bicycles. Car sharing has been proven to give rise to quite successful businesses. There is Uber in Australia, Didi in China, Ola in India, and other brands in other different countries too. However, we have not seen many known large businesses in the sharing of bicycles as comparable to Uber and Didi. Not that there hasn't been enough tries. There had been a battle of bicycle sharing businesses going on in China. From 2010 to 2020, there were over 70 companies participated in this business trying to be the next Uber or Didi, but in bicycles. Statistics show that the total bicycles put into the businesses has been over 16 million, with total registered users of over 130 million. Unfortunately, only a few are still existing now, and they are operating in small scales. So what's the difference between sharing of cars and sharing of bicycles? Well, under whichever concept or ideas, the logic of determining whether a business can be successful is business model. We still must go back to answering two simple questions. Is there any need for the products or services you created in the market? And if yes, is your income going to be greater than your cost? Is there any need for sharing of bicycles? Yes, there is. There are people who are willing to ride bicycles for small distance of traveling. Then we look at the costs and revenues. Uber's revenue comes from service fees charged to drivers or passengers. The largest part of initial costs come from the building of the platform and the marketing expenses required to occupy the market. Bike-sharing business revenue also comes from service fees charged to users. The initial costs also include a platform that manages the bicycles and the marketing expenses, but also include the costs of obtaining the bicycles, the renting and managing of spaces in placing the bicycles, the cost in storing distribution of the bicycles, as well as the cost of repair and the depreciation of the bicycles. So now we can see what the difference is. Comparing of sharing of cars, sharing of bicycles needs to take care of all the costs in relation to owning bicycles, including bicycle itself, logistics, placement, labor, repair, maintenance, depreciation, and all additional management and other costs associated with owning a bicycle. Sharing of cars, as it is on the other side, do not have to pay for owning the cars and any of the costs associated with it. And more importantly, those costs in relation to owning the bicycle are not just the initial setting up costs. They grow with the increase of the users. So here is the key difference in the business model between what we see in the car sharing and the bicycle sharing. By not owning the cars and the costs in maintaining the cars, the initial costs of car sharing businesses are marginally reduced by the increase of the users. Whereas when it comes to the business of sharing the bicycles, by owning the bicycles, all the associated costs increases with the increase of users. Therefore, companies such as Uber, Didi, etc. can make a loss in the early stage, however, have the possibility to make a profit when the business achieves a certain level of economies of scale. But for most bicycle sharing companies who actually have to own the bicycles, the cost increases almost proportionately because each additional bicycle means more management, storage, maintenance, and the cost of the bicycle itself. Therefore, if the income that the business can obtain is lower than the cost of maintaining the ongoing of the business, this business model does not work out. But does that mean that the bicycle sharing business model is completely unfeasible? In fact, not necessarily, but this business model does not have the benefit of the economy of scale, which means more users, more bicycles, and more cost. And this business model, it requires the business owner or the manager to carefully manage the cost versus the revenue generated to make sure there is enough profit margin in the business. The same logic applies to Airbnb and WeWork that both share spaces, one in traveling and the other one in office space. But similarly, there is a fundamental difference in the business models. In fact, we can see that in the past 10 years, various concepts and business ideas emerge rapidly. But it turns out even there are constantly new concepts, new services, new demands, new products, the underlying logic of determining whether a business can be successful is still the business model. Whether there are enough people who need the service you provide, and whether there is any profit margin between the income you can generate and the cost you have to bear. Okay, that's all for today's topic about business models. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.